First of all, congratulations to Tennessee. They played well, obviously, and we didn't play good enough. Proud of our guys and the way they competed in the second half, and really throughout the game. They competed hard, but that second half, really proud of the effort and a lot to build upon. Certainly not the start that we wanted. That first quarter went about as bad as it could have gone. That starts with me. We had a unbelievably great week of practice. Really the best week of practice we've had, the most physical week of practice we've had. Unbelievable Friday walkthrough, great meetings in the hotel last night, great meetings and focus this morning. Our guys were certainly, we felt prepared to play and ready to handle the tempo. Obviously, we didn't do a great job handling the tempo early in the game, and that got us. And we talked about it, being able to handle the tempo and settle down, and we did as the game went on, but just dug ourselves too big a hole early in the game. So we got to do a better job of starting fast. That's not the last team we're going to see that goes fast and tries to run a lot of plays, but so proud of our defense in the second half. I mean, I think we forced 2 3-and-outs to start the second half, and then got a stop on the third drive, if I'm not mistaken, held them to 7 points in the second half. Offensively did a lot of good things. Just shot ourselves in the foot at times again in the second half. Got to tackle better than we did in the first half. Gave up some explosive runs in the first half. Just a lot of the stuff that you can't do against this team. We did early on, but again, proud of the way we battled in the second half, and a lot to build up on. We're at the halfway point of the regular season, and excited to see how we respond next week, and knowing the group in that locker room and the group of competitors we have, I have no doubt about how we'll respond. Be glad to answer any questions.
Ben Portnoy with first one.
Shane, you mentioned the adjustments at halftime. Just what is it that you think you guys saw defensively that maybe allowed you guys to slow them down and have that second half and kind of keep you guys in it a little bit?
I don't know if it was much scheme. It's really just lining up and executing the call. Tempo got us early. Had some guys misaligned on some big plays in the first half. Had a couple communication issues on a couple long plays where we had a defensive back on one call playing one defense and the other guys playing a different defense, and that can't happen. That's goes back on us as coaches, but just the communication bin and getting the call in, which Clayton got the calls in, and then we just got to line up and execute. And we told them, I think Pittsburgh or somebody had them down, or they had Pittsburgh down, I think early in the season, 14-0 early on. And we told our guys, just get a feel for the tempo. The first drive is going to be faster than you've seen all season, and get a feel for it and settle down. And we did eventually. It just took too long.
Colin Taylor.
Is Shane, on that drive that ended in the Jordan Burch interception, it seems like you guys were running the ball really well on that play or on that drive. Just what went into the decision to call that play then, and just what did you see on it?
Yeah, we were running the ball well, and hindsight being 2020, you just continue to run the ball and hammer it in and make it a 14-7 game, I think is what it would have been if we had scored the touchdown. But that was a play we've been working all week. Jordan has thrown that ball, I think, in high school, and something we've been working all along this week. And he's made some great throws on it. And I didn't really see the angle from the sideline, but, yesterday we ran it in our walkthrough in the indoor, and he threw a beautiful ball in the back corner of the end zone where he led Nick, and Nick caught it, as he's going out of bounds. But I think, may have been a little bit underthrown. I'm not really sure. Their guy made a nice play. But we had talked about it as an offensive staff that, first time we got down there inside the 5, we were going to get to that call, and we had told Jordan, run it and make them tackle you if you don't like the pass. And he was trying to make a play. We were trying to make a play. If it works, it's great. If it doesn't, you get criticized, and I get that part of it. But we had talked about it before the game. We liked the play and felt good about it.
David Cloninger.
Hey, Shane, it seemed like last week you guys decided to take a lot of shots in the middle of the field passing the ball. Is that, just something that we'll probably see a lot of moving forward?
No, I think so. I don't think so. I mean, we're going to throw the ball wherever we got to throw it, David, whether it's middle, behind the line, down the field. We threw the ball downfield some today too. So if the middle's open, we're going to take it. And, some of the stuff they were doing coverage wise, some of the throws in the middle were open. And then we've got to be able to continue to push the ball down the field wherever we have to have to throw it. We had some guys open for some big plays late in the game. We got to be able to see and get to as well and continue to be more and more explosive offensively.
Ben Briner.
Hey, Shane, what did you kind of see in their punt coverage that made you think that fake was going to work, and how did you see it? How did you kind of decide when to kind of go for that?
Yeah, got you a fresh buzz cut, I see, Ben. Looks good. That was something that we had seen during the week. Watching video when a team, we call it punt safe, when we punt and they keep their defense on the field. It's something we noticed that their defensive backs that were a little bit inconsistent. We felt at just covering our gunners where Peyton Mangrum was lined up, and something that we certainly liked going into the game. If we got in a situation where they had kept their defense on the field, the punt before, they kept their defense on the field, and I saw it that they didn't run with the guy and that it was going to be open. So, we had made the decision on that fourth down that we're going to put the punt team out there and like their chances of being able to connect on that. And Kai's got a great arm. I mean, he's a weapon back there, and Peyton made a nice catch as well.
Chandler Mack.
Hey, Coach, I was curious, what was the main message that you told your team, particularly after a first half like that, and things looked better for you guys in the second half? How much momentum does that give you guys heading into next weekend, the second half of the season?
I would hope a lot. I mean, there was a lot of good from today and a lot to build up on. And it just such a bad first quarter. Was it 28 nothing, or 28 points they scored in the first quarter. As good as we've been on defense, and then offensively just weren't great early on. But our message at halftime was, Chandler, I mean, we felt extremely confident as a football team coming into this game. And I told those guys at halftime that the reason I felt so confident going into the game, I still felt the same way. The same reasons I felt confident going into it, because of our team, nothing had changed. And we just had to play better and execute better. And we just talked about competing. Competition is a core value of this program. And we just talked about just going out there and competing. And in our facility, on the wall outside the meeting rooms, there's something on the wall that says your reps create your rep. And I told them we'd go out there in the second half and we'd find out a lot about this football team, and their reps, their repetition, their plays in the second half would create a great reputation. And I'm proud to coach these guys, and I'm proud of the way they battled in the second half, man, because there's a lot of teams. And again, there's no moral victories. There's no losing is okay. I'm sick right now because we lost that game and we got a locker room but there's a lot of teams that game would have gotten away from in the second half, and we didn't let that happen. And that's not okay. We got to figure out why it was such a bad first quarter. And we got to play and coach better and get our guys, continue to put our guys in position to make plays and not get down 28-0 before you blink.
Corey Diaz.
Yeah, Shane, to that point, there's been a couple of games the last 3 or 4 weeks where, you kind of have a slow start there the first quarter. What do you feel like hasn't translated, during the great, quote unquote, a great week of practice to Saturday, especially like today where you guys got to that slow start?
Yeah, I don't know. We got to continue to look at it. I mean, we everything was fantastic right up to kickoff, and then give Tennessee some credit too, man. I mean, they're good. They did what they did to Missouri last week. They're playing well. The quarterback's playing well for them. We knew we needed to affect the quarterback, and he was 17 of 23 for 225 yards and 3 touchdowns, and ran the ball for close to 100 yards. So obviously we didn't do a great job of affecting the quarterback, and give Tennessee credit. And, I think the biggest issue today was we obviously weren't as ready to handle that tempo early in the game as we needed to. But I really was proud of the guys and pleased with our preparation during the week. I was pleased with pregame warmup and the focus and the sense of urgency we had in pregame, the mindset in the locker room. Our guys were ready to play. Now, we didn't play well in the first quarter, so we got to look at what we got to continue to do. But we had a hell of a week on and off the field preparing for this game.
Gene Sapakoff.
Shane, how would you evaluate the play calling that you've had on offense through the first 6 games of the season?
Good.
How would you about? Okay.
I mean, what do you want me to say, Gene? That I think it's been terrible? Are there plays that Marcus would like to have back? Yeah. Every single coach and player in that locker room would like to have plays back. Today's no question. I mean, if we could go back and hindsight being 2020, there's a lot of plays that we'd like to have back. There's a lot of calls that Clayton would like to have back. And when we're whatever we are offensively right now, it's not good enough. We got to be better, and we got to continue to coach and play better. And then special teams, defense, all that. I mean, we all had a hand in this thing today. When you give up, 472 yards of offense and let a team go 12 of 17 on third down, we got to be better on defense. When we ran the ball we had 75 plays for close to 400 yards and we're not as good on third down and didn't always score touchdowns in the red zone. And we had 2 fumbled snaps with the quarterback in the center. I mean, there's a lot that we all can be better at, myself included.
Take 2 more. Hale, then Phil. Hale.
I was going to ask you about those fumbled snaps between Luke and the center. What was going on there? Anything in particular, or just bad luck?
I don't know. I don't know, Hale, because it hasn't been an issue in practice. And I don't know. I don't think Luke's trying to protect his foot and get his foot out of there too quickly and pulling away. It's something we have to look at. It hasn't been an issue in practice. And all of a sudden it popped up twice today, and they were critical. The first one obviously was a turnover. And the second one, I'm not sure. We're not getting ready to have a huge play down the right side if the timing is better. So that can't happen. That's day one football. I'll have to look at it to see if Luke is worried about getting his foot stepped on and is trying to pull out too soon. I don't know. But it hasn't been an issue until today. So we obviously got to get that corrected.
Last one, Phil Kornbluth.
Yeah, hey, Shane. I think people are going to have a hard time accepting the explanation of a predetermined play call when you got inside the 5 the first time to run that play with Burt. Is there not a mechanism in the offensive play calling where in real time you're moving the ball a certain way that you just stick with that, especially when you're first and goal at the 1 yard line?
No, there is. The mechanism is me as the head coach to overrule the call when I hear it on the headphones. And I like the call. Worst case scenario, you got a 270-pound guy that runs probably a 4.5 40 running the ball that they have to tackle. And it didn't work. Like I said a few minutes ago, Phil, hindsight being 2020, sure, you keep running the ball and just hammer it in that situation. So there is a mechanism. It's me. And, like I said, we all got to play and coach better, starting with me.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.